Lisa Kelly is well known for her ice escapades. Road truckers gained popularity very fast. Favorite following her debut, but just a few people are aware of the personal tragedy she has endured since her near-death experiences on the program that resulted in some of her co-workers in a deadly mishap. Lisa has undoubtedly experienced some terrible low points. In spite of everything, she stays dedicated to the trucking industry profession. Come along with us as we reveal what Lisa Kelly was unknown to you, while our watchers relax and take in the thrills of every truck driver on the snowy roads has had near-death situations. This naturally includes Lisa, who keeps growing in a male-dominated industry. One of these encounters occurred when traveling during Season 3. Lisa discovered Aden Pass behind the wheel herself in a difficult circumstance when she had to stop in a little area to allow 2 trucks go by. Here is the ice dam securely. It crosses this lake directly, but what lies between the coastline and the coast? Despite the fact that her choice prohibited any crashes that left her in a difficult situation. Positioned with her truck in a risky way adjacent to the icy road's edge, even so, Lisa was able to go to arriving at her location on schedule, free of damage, demonstrating her capacity to manage high-stress circumstances. But it didn't finish there. In Season 4, Lisa had the scariest thing that happened to her career while operating a vehicle on a snow-covered road. Lisa abruptly changed course to escape and plow truck approaching. This prompt response prevented a head-on collision with her, but caused a ditch to tumble into her truck. Fortunately, Lisa and her truck emerged unharmed. The situation didn't go as planned, as it was in Lisa's trucking record considered an accident truck that cannot be avoided in the field of driving. Equipment dependability is essential, and one thing is certain. What a truck driver can ever anticipate is mechanical breakdown. Regardless of the show's preventive measures, Lisa previously had to deal with a frightening mechanical problem when moving a 100-t long pipe to Puerto while traveling. The additional dolly used to carry the big, long load experienced some misalignment problems, resulting in its hazardous swinging during turns. In spite of her knowledge of the problem, was too difficult for her to resolve alone, making Lisa stop in order to get help. Regretfully, the unplanned halt and her careful driving even cost her time. Lisa, even if she didn't deliver on time, reached her location without incident. Lisa Kelly's near-fatal encounters persisted throughout Season 5. When she finished one of the main difficulties faced by ICO truck drivers, she was assigned to move a 16-t Fairbanks broad steel building frame to PR. The task has to be completed flawlessly. Therefore, she had to deal with pilot automobiles up close to drive on small roads safely, and abrupt twists at the last part of the task. Lisa took the initiative and shown her self-assurance and abilities. While most journeys some people find trucks frightening on ice road, there are even more terrible moments, such as one instance of this was when Lisa crossed the street, the icy Utica Lake, while transporting the biggest load ever loaded into a rock truck. Included on the broadcast to increase the danger. The task's nature necessitated a prompt delivery. In an effort to conserve, Lisa had to spend the time driving through the night to arrive on schedule, excluding the complete darkness that made it possible to see the creaking is almost impossible. Transformed the trip into a deadly trap. In spite of these horrifying circumstances, Lisa, she was aware that stopping would raise the possibility of breaking through the ice. With bravery, she continued to move and successfully completed the load on schedule. Besides her near-death experiences that few people are aware of, Lisa encountered a disturbing circumstance a few years even when there were reports that she had died one of the few women who have access to the internet. Ice Road Truckers. Lisa's unexpected Season 6 disappearance resulted in rumors among her admirers during her whispers of time off started to circulate throughout Lisa's social media account sadly died. Yet the reports proved to be entirely phony. Lisa merely took a respite from the show to highlight further facets of her living. The rumors that she died originate from an instance of misidentification featuring Lisa Robin Kelly and another, a deceased American artist. Approximately the same period since her passing occurred at the same time as Lisa's ice road break. People who work as truckers simply assume that it was the trucker that made the mistake made a lot of money. Of popularity on the internet, with multiple media reports from outlets, before it was ultimately disproved. Lisa herself as well returned in Season 7, finally putting a stop to the gossip even while the rumors were effectively denied that Lisa was impacted by the experience. Occurred during the time when she was under enough stress from professional difficulties, striking a balance between the fame's demands on her challenging career, when the death rumors gained a lot of toll on her health. Eventually, she thought about leaving the show. However, her love of trucks kept her continuing. As many people are aware of the difficulties Lisa has encountered on the demonstrate that few people are aware of the personal catastrophic events that have affected her life. The death of a close buddy was one of these. It is important to note that Daryl Ward stands out. In its 6th season, that darling joined the show. Season swiftly gaining popularity among fans with his decades of experience in transportation wished to be among the more prominent athletes, and I am aware that the only thing I can do is it occurs in order to have the appropriate athletes. I've worked with a number of, and moving higher might be quite enjoyable. Sort of gain a larger share of the action or something. Fine. I suppose I can offer you something. Even though Lisa was not present that season, the two established a solid relationship throughout Season 7, garnering mutual respect and establishing a collaboration that instantly struck a chord with audiences. Their calm, our turn became an important component of it. Safe to argue that the show's appeal is the IC row. The members of the trucker cast were like family. Done so in spite of the fact that their efforts, which they relied upon and supported, treating one another as if they were siblings. Nevertheless, Daryl wasn't merely he was Lisa's co-worker, mentor, and sadly, their business partner. The relationship ended on August 28th, when Daryl died in a plane in 2016 collision. On that Friday near Mesa, Montana, Daryl was operating a single engine that day. Sadly, Kessa 182 crashed close to the airport at Rock Creek. As per several accounts, he was en route to make a pilot for a brand new documentary format program that focuses on rescuing aircraft crashes on the south side. The Cessna 182 crashed shoulder of the lane heading east of near the Rock Creek on Interstate 90 exit. Following the collision, the aircraft caught fire that claimed Daryl's life. Co-pilot right after the collision, the National Transportation Safety Board initiated a study to ascertain the reason of the collision, but the specifics were not made aware of the terrible accident. Had a significant influence not just on Lisa Kelly as well as Daryl's family. Beyond ice road truck drivers, Daryl and Lisa co-own the transportation company Polar Industries Ltd., company that has subsequently been shut down following his passing. Lisa conveyed her sorrow, describing in an interview how challenging it was necessary to adapt to Daryl's departure. Daryl typically manages a lot on the show. Many items he organizes and transports down extremely lengthy highways to alleviate Lisa's. Because of his absence, Lisa had to look after herself. Her partner established the affected not only her professional life, but also her emotional realm. In addition to Daryl's ICO truckers, who have been in accidents, honor him in later episodes, commemorating his contributions to the program. Following taking some time off for personal grieving, Lisa came back on the screen to pay tribute to Daryl's legacy through her dedication to the career they both cherished. With the tight-knit bond and powerful explosive the show's cast members had there, one could argue that an injury to one isn't. Greetings to every Ice Road Truckers fan. Shall keep Hugh Roland in mind for his exceptional driving abilities in the show. Roland's background made him a key figure that places him on the same level as Alex Taborski's nonsensical behavior, approach, and commitment to the task completed. He is a favorite among fans and an inspiration for wannabe truck drivers. But this was different. When calamity occurred and his profession was, Roland was never the same. In 2014, a part of an incident during he was traveling as a passenger on a leisure excursion inside a car that one of the shows. When the crash occurs, Morrison will be the producer. Occurred, as reported by Morrison, was operating a vehicle carelessly and collided with the collision, caused a clump of trees to many fractures and long-term physical limitations that caused Roland to unable to continue his physical difficult labor. For a person such as Roland, who flourished in the difficulties of the accident at work, was more than just a financial one setback. It dealt him a tremendous blow. Life after the collision. Roland filed a legal action against the creators of Ice Road Truckers, are claiming carelessness on their portion and requesting payment for. Do not misunderstand his injuries. His employment was not the main reason for the case, but also his marriage's disintegration. Roland claims that the wounds he suffered in the collision had left him ability to carry out his masculine responsibilities. He asserted that the death of his wife, intimacy, and love friendship resulted in a dissolution of their union. Although the lawsuit's specifics were not made public, the back and forth between the judicial battle adds another level of intricacy to an already tragic circumstances. After the lawsuit, Roland ceased making appearances on the show and was dismissed later in 2014 because stepping down from trucking. Roland has changed his attention to he also spends money on a construction company, spending time with his family while taking pleasure in his estimated net worth almost $2 million. But the catastrophe wasn't finished with Lisa Kelly, as another co-worker was taken into custody on the accusations of Harrison's carelessness. When Art Burke first appeared on ICO, he had previously spent 13 years with truckers. Experience behind him in transportation. During his appearance in the show, his gloomy perception of his sense of humor and rusty persona gained him a devoted. However, after his career in trucking wasn't without its difficulties. It was a trek no through the ice. No, upon my initial arrival at the lake, the come on, honey, come on. Everything was fine. Come on, sweetie, I'll give it a go. Here again, Burke was VP Express's first employee, but was part in a number of disputes along with his supervisor, Hugh Roland. He departed the business and moved to leasing. Polar Industries Ltd. is his switch company, proven vital to the business as he contributed significantly to their wins. During ICE's competitive seasons, the most prominent road truckers and Burke accomplishment following the move to HollyLegacy occurred during Season 8, when he gave the last cargo that guaranteed the Polar Industries triumph over other businesses. But regrettably, his sad turn of events occurred in November 2018, when he tried to create a concentrated extract of an eliciting ingredient. Bane was used in the procedure as an extremely flammable material for the extraction. When the bane is being extracted, ignited, resulting in a tremendous explosion that the explosion seriously damaged the building, caused damage exceeding $60,000, and many residents were displaced. Burke sustained injuries in the explosion. 40% of his body was burned while he was attempting to extinguish the flames. The explosion's aftermath was terrible for him in 2020, when he was set up in court, where he entered a plea guilty of negligent arson. The court showed that the blast not only demolished his flat, but also departed. In an interview, he was financially destroyed. Following the hearing, he spoke more deeply, further stating that all of his efforts have disappeared in a heartbeat. According to his estimation, their net worth was approximately $300,000. Fell because of the financial repercussions of the event. Following the hearing, Burke received an 18-month sentence of home arrest due to his behavior, but he was permitted to operate a truck as a spend time behind bars in his truck's cab. It allowed him to keep working. A few years following his imprisonment, he relocated to Prince Edward Island in search of a new depart from the chaos brought on by. Speaking of fresh starts, the burst lets discover Lisa's beginnings in life and the path that ultimately led to her to Ice Road Truckers. Despite the fact that many observed Lisa right away after she entered the program in Season 3. She had another occupation before becoming famous. Before she worked for AP before making her television debut to the delivery business, and proceeded to get a job driving school buses. While doing this, she set aside a portion of her earnings and utilized it to cover her truck driving expenses. Lessons outside of her work. Lisa also attended college for a short time, but left following the acquisition of her commercial truck license in her early 20s. Following the acquisition of, Lisa started driving after getting her truck license, vans, and she quickly acquired the experiences required to operate large trucks. She eventually landed a job at Carroll, Alaskan Whole Company and Transportation. After a few years, a significant opportunity. Watch reality TV on the History Channel. Display Ice Roll Truckers was trying to find Lisa, a female trucker who encountered all the requirements were submitted and approved. Changing from a standard trucking work must be captured on camera when navigating some of the most hazardous roads in the world was no easy task. In spite of the additional, Lisa stayed under the camera's pressure, concentrated, and soon stood out. Personality. From Season 3 onwards, Lisa was the lone woman until Season 5. Truck driver prior to being joined by Maya Saber from Lisa's 5th season, appeared in 2 seasons in a row, but subsequently took a hiatus after Season 6 because for personal reasons. As stated by Lisa, one of the show's producers, was invited for Season 6, however she turned down the opportunity, expressing her desire to take a year off. But she came back as strong as ever in Season 7, where they were eventually joined by Stephanie Causdan, another woman. And around the time of Season 10, she had already started collaborating with Daryl Ward, who will be her employer and partner for 2 years on the program since its conclusion in 2017. Lisa is now involved in other adventures. In an interview, she disclosed that she has changed her priorities to saving, and she was passionate about taking care of horses. Fostered all of her life. It's thrilling and depressing all at once, but I'm leaving Wasilla and relocating to Fairbanks, thus I must bid farewell to Maya. In the interview, she ponies by, proclaimed her passion for animals, and how working with horses gave her a feeling of tranquility and contentment. Lisa also provided information on her overseas traveling and going to trade exhibitions in Scotland, Ireland, and England, while few people are aware that she appeared on the show. Lisa conducted some marketing and advertisements for Chevron lubricant. Once the trucker on ice road ceased being bold, she kept up her position with the business. In a 16-part promotional series that was broadcast from 2018 until 2020, she provided viewers with an inside view of her truck life driver for a few of the shows and her taking on several tasks and conquering difficulties ranging from providing food for farm animals to burying a water line with an excavator. Lisa Kelly's love terminated after the show didn't fade for vehicles at the moment. She operates the Coronado freight ship and frequently works for a different company traversing the rocky roads in the north. From a personal perspective, Alaska. Additionally, Lisa has gone down the aisle with Travis Kelly. Travis, his spouse, isn't a dirt biker and native of Alaska, has been an unwavering source of assistance for Lisa during her career. They keep leading a life that is grounded in adventure with Lisa, frequently exchanging snippets of their shared existence. Lisa on the show. Kelly's journey wasn't merely filled with near-death encounters and tragedies, it also had financial consequences. Difficulties. She stated in her interview, for which she was initially unpaid for her roles on the show. During this may seem overly dramatic. She did not acknowledge that the show she was purportedly hired by producers for her looks before taking into account her abilities. Nevertheless, Lisa put out a lot of effort to demonstrate her abilities as a truck driver and ultimately secured her proper position on. Speaking of the show, there are a lot of fans of ice cream drivers continue to wonder if the program will return and if Lisa will be joining the cast again. For currently, all signs point to the producers of the show have canceled the show, but it's never clear to us